Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. You know, I should really change this mouth here to be more showing when I'm talking, because it's very, very, very subtle. Bom 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 bom. Then you really gotta like zoom in there. Bom bom. I mean, at least I have the cheek puff. I definitely need to add a blend shape in for spitting on my tongue, but it like ejects a disc. Oh, and this one doesn't have all of the emotes. We'll have to fix that. We will have to fix that. Yes. Well, we should probably load up the VC face version of all of this so that we can still experiment with both. So we can run this, still get tracking. Because if we run Rustyverse, we won't get tracking. Unhide. Oh, there we are. Hello. Hello. Can we zoom? See, zoom in works with this, but it doesn't work with Rustyverse. Disappointing. Disappointing. Okay. So tonight I'm going to finish up on one of the things. And then go to another one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. To do, what day is it today? 7/2. I make notes now. It's kind of like a changelog to-do list kind of dealio. Leap pinching. I have to give Dead Sun credit for this because he did remind me that the leap motion, which I'm using for my hand tracking, has a development kit. So I should be using some of that. However, I can't currently use that because my tracking is being all compiled by VCFace and then sent over to here. So someday, when I get around that and just have my project accept all of the tracking and the OSC data and all that fun stuff, then we can use the Leap SDK, which would be nice because it's been behaving itself quite well lately. But I think we should be able to emulate exactly what I want to do with it. Okay, let's see. Yes, yes. And then I might be able to change around my light bar. So I'm going to do a pinch to accept. First, we need to make the light bar settings a little bit larger. A little bit larger. So let's look for light. Light. Not quite flashlight. Not quite flashlight. Index finger, index finger, index finger. Line, line, line. It wasn't light, light, light. It was line, line, line. Okay. And also, we are going to change some things. Change some things. Okay, line, line, line. Size, width, width. Might have to make a new material so I can directly play with that material without messing up my eyes. Because currently it's using the same material as my eyes. But first, let's go to line, line, line. Here it is, finger line. I really need to move this script over to line, 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 because that's where it is. So let's load that up. Might take some time. And then it takes like no time. It's great. Okay. Okay, we're not getting anything from this specifically, so I think we can move it to line, line, line instead of line right. So I think I would rather have it there anyways. So copy component. Paste component as new. Oh, and it did all the references. Excellent. Excellent. And then we, well, for now, we'll just disable it. Now it's on line, 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 which is what we want. Line right, line left. Okay. So we're loading the line itself, which is good. There's the length, and here's the cam light. Okay, so we are going to edit this script to, oh, almost had a bad habit here of blocking you guys with my lovely self. Turn length, intensity length. Let's make a serialized field. Load length, and we'll make another one. Serialized field, float, intensity. That's not how you spell intensity. Multiplier. Intensity markiplier. And we'll set it to 1.5F as the default. Length times intensity multiplier. Ta-da! First thing done. This way we can have a multiplier on a per instance basis. So whatever I attach the finger line script to. Yes. Yes, we're attaching it to lights. Because I still do want to have this for things like the studio lights, which will need its own version of this script, won't it? Oh well. Okay, so we get the length. Here we're setting the intensity is enabled. As I'm going like this, it's adjusting the intensity on the spot, on the fly. What we are also going to do is, let's keep it all together. Line dot, set the width at the end of the line. We can set the width at the start of the line? Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting that we can set the start and the end. We just have a general width. With curve? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. String width of the line at various points along its length. Overall multiplier that is applied to the width curve to get the final width of the line. That is what I was looking for. Okay, but not that. We are going to use delete me. Somewhere I have a public variable called delete me, or a script, public script. So let's try this out and see what happens. Music seems awfully quiet. I wonder if that needs to be adjusted. Oh, that is... Maybe we need to adjust this multiplier. Make it a smaller amount. It is working completely as intended. Completely as intended. Just, it's a function of the length. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. Let's try that again. Okay, so starting out, point nothing. There we go. Minimum is like 0.06, and it's that big. And we want to go to maybe 0.02. You know what I'm going to do? Instead of it being the whole width, I am going to do the end width. I think we start at this one and end at this one. I could be wrong though. It might be the other way, which is fine. But yeah, that's a little much. I should have this be... Oh. God, I don't use a green screen. I could have this chroma'd. I could have this chroma keyed. They'll be like, oh, hey, you want a thing? This is kind of cool, though. Wait, can I pass it through myself? So that's the fun thing about being 3D. We can do all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, speaking of all sorts of fun stuff, let's set that... Line enabled is enabled. Line width multiplier. Let's not have that. Let's have it be end width equals length. No, length times a very small portion of the length. Length times 0.01? Would that do it? Would that do it? Is that enough? Because one was huge. One was huge. Where's our start? Here we go. Position count 2. Enabled is enabled. You know what? Let's play with this in real time so we don't have to keep messing with it. Line start, line end. We'll set those right here. Since we're just testing them anyways, start width equals line start. Yeah. Ooh, so that's the thing. This is always going to be here. Hmm. Yeah, that's okay. Okay. Line start. Start width is line start. Line width is, yeah, line end. So line start, we'll just say is 0.01. Line end, we will start off with being 0.2. This is a very small amount. Okay, so then we want line start, line end, that's fine. Intensity multiplier, which is also up here. Oh no, that's the length. This is the length times that amount. Let's just give this a shot. Let's give this a shot. I also would like the brightness. I also would like the, oops, did we never, we never stopped. There we go. All right. Okay. Okay, what have we got? What have we got? Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. So we start off small and we get larger, like more volume. And we can shrink it back down. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible. It's not too big. And it really gets the point across. The point. And I feel like this is a good amount of brightness too, or at least brightness control. Then I can set it low. Oops. Or high. Little cough. Okay. So that's good. That's good. Oh. Okay, so it is enabling and disabling the line renderer itself. Here I thought I was going to need all these test values to play with, and it just works. I picked a decent amount. Oh, look at that. Look at that. So it's dynamic. These are the values that I'm setting. So it should be cool. Oops. Click. Look at that. That is neat. And you're watching it in real time. The positioning, because we can actually go backwards. You got the positioning. And then the width of the line. So the start of the line, obviously that's not moving because I set it to be a static value. But the ending width is based on the length, how far away it is from the start. You know, this would be kind of cool for like VR type stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of where I got some of these ideas. So like shooting an arrow. So that might be a fun thing to implement too, because I'm not VR currently. I'm not using VR, but I am using hand tracking. And we should be able to do all sorts of fun stuff because we're in 3D. I mean, if you look back at some of the Leap Motion demos when they were all new and exciting, it was new and exciting. It was new and exciting. You could basically do VR stuff like, oh, we got floating bubbles. You can pop the bubbles. Boop, 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 boop. Now, there was some kind of... I don't know exactly how they had it hooked up. Because I haven't actually looked at the demos. I haven't looked at the demos to see how they had everything hooked up. If it was kind of like this, but, you know, probably in first-person mode, you know? You'd be like, come on. Gotta scroll out. Forget that I have to scroll out when I'm using first-person mode here. So it's probably more like this, so more like a VR augmented reality kind of thing. And they had an augmented reality demo. So you could like, you know, you could have like your camera screen in the background or an image, and you'd be like popping bubbles, like pop, 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 you know, kind of like that. Well, that's fun. But what I'm going to do is something slightly different. Slightly different. I'm not going to use their SDK, but I'm going to use the similar idea to their SDK. So there's like grabbing. So instead of having to calculate all the joint rotations and stuff, it has, you know, it knows when something's being grabbed, like that. It's funny, I have the line selected right there, so the little gimbal's moving all over the place because it's attached to my finger, my pointer finger. So we know the positions of, well, everything. But we do something like this, we're already using the positions of the tips of our fingers. So using that same idea for the tip of the finger and the tip of the thumb, like clicking a mouse. Click, 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 click. Except that's not really how one clicks a mouse. That'd be more like that, I suppose. And you got a scrolly wheel. I need more fingers so I can do all the fun. Ooh, all the fun finger stuff is, that's a questionable phrase. I meant like typing. Yes. We meant like typing. So, on that fun note, we are going to... What are we going to do? We are going to work on the pinch mechanic and then build a level. I don't know if I want to do it the other way around. I don't know if I want to do it the other way around right now. I do want to add more to this, but maybe not at the moment. Okay, so we've got line right. Thumb. Okay, so right is the start. I'm using the mouse. Do I want to use this hand for clicking? Pop. Or do I want to use this hand? Yeah, we'll try this one for now. So that's the left hand. Yeah, we'll use the left hand because the flashlight's in the right hand. So just in case I want to use flashlight and that kind of stuff, we will have the confirmation in the other hand. So we need the tip of the thumb and the tip of the index finger. And since I only have 3 fingers, well, 2 fingers and a thumb right now, that will change. That will change. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to add another game object because they seem to be inexpensive. So our game object is going to be called tip. Tip index. Indexal. Ooh, indexal. I like that. tip indexal. In fact, that is like completely backward. It should be L index tip. Or a hierarchy. This is definitely a reversed hierarchy here. Oh boy. Create empty tip. Thummel. Thummel. Indexal and thummel. Okay. So we've got those. And we're going to make a script very similar to this. In fact, I'm just going to copy that right there. I'm going to copy most of this. We should probably put that script on our main set of scripts. So we keep it all in one big, happy, messy family. Oh boy. New script. Pinchy. I mean, it seems like a good name for a script, right? Get the Pinchy script. Let's go edit the Pinchy script. Okay, fingerline. Okay, we need these. Let's see. What else do we need? Flow length. And we don't really need to serialize it. Yeah, we can make that private. But I do want to see it. So for now we'll make it serialized. And for now, we are also going to have a serialized bool. Okay, it'd be nice to get rid of this super simple comment line, because that'd just be kind of nice. We know what we're doing. We theoretically know what we're doing. But do we know what we're doing? Okay, and then we are just going to steal this. Currently have it there. Length is object 1, object 2. We're going to say object 1, object 2 is fine. Get the positions, that's all we need. And then if length is let's see, less than how close do we want to be? We'll have to find out. I should have been paying more attention. If it's less than that, then it's pinched. It was true. Oh, you're not gonna format that nicely? Come on. And else is false. There. Super simple. That should be all it takes. Now we are gonna do something here. We're gonna make a public void. Public boolean. No, public. Oh geez, what is this? Public bool. Public bool. Yep. Pinched. Return is pinched. Get pinched. Sometimes. Is pinched. Get pinched. That should be the hashtag. Should put the stream tags. Get pinched. Okay. So now that we have our pinchy script, which should be the base. Maybe thumb there. Save that. Can't be this easy. It can't be this easy. Okay, let's minimize most of these, including delete me. It's the air script. We should do something with that one tonight. Nope, wrong finger. Beep, pop, beep, pop. Okay, so these, I was going based on this. Okay, pinched. It's always gonna be pinched. I have it set way too sensitive. Okay, so 0.06 seems to be roughly as close as we get. 0.06. We'll do like 0.07. Pinch, pinch. There'll be some room for error, some room for error, room for adjustments. Okay. Sensitivity curve. We could always set a sensitivity curve. Also, having it check less than, yeah, having it check less than every second, maybe. If it's less than what do we say, 07, then true. If not, it's false. Okay, so now we have pinchies. Now we can do stuff. So one of the things we're going to do is there's a public bool called get pinched. So we're going to see if this toggles the line. So we want to turn the line on with this and then turn it off. I don't want to turn it on every single time. So if it is on, toggle the line. If we press it again, it turns it off. So we're just going to try this here to see if we can go get it. If is enabled. Oh, there we go. We can just add it right to here. We could just add it right to here. Can't call get pinched. How do we do that again? How do we do that to call? I mean, it's a public function. It's a public function. Do we need to make? Should we just make this public? Maybe we should just make that public. I mean, that's like bad programming to expose that like that. That's what the whole point of public bool. How to access variables from another thing. Unity, how to access variables from another script. Ooh. Okay. So, game object find, and then get component, access the variable in another script. Or, ooh, here we go. Okay, suppose you have an object, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm reading this off screen, so just bear with me for a moment here. Oh, enjoy the ad break. Oh, that is interesting. Okay. First, a script with the variable public class, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's annoying, but apparently you do just need to set the... There's probably more than one way to do it. This is the correct way because it doesn't expose your variable. Whereas this would allow the variable to be messed with. Use get component. Yeah, making everything static is blah, 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 blah. Create a reference. Okay, public game object, other game object. Oh, really? Okay, okay, okay. So we're gonna call pinchy. That's annoying. I don't want to load the whole object though. Set value for this in the other game object field. Okay. Well, the cool thing is we'll be using this reference. We can cycle through. We should be able to cycle through different things like the lighting and such. So we could theoretically control more lights with our light control by just adding more objects to them and then cycling through them using references to the object. Okay, that's kind of annoying. So you can only reference one specific script ever. Okay, here we go. Okay, game object find. Pinchy. You know, I should probably put pinchy on the character, and that way we can call it from all sorts of other objects. So we are going to, first we're going to save that script. Save pinchy. Okay. We are going to copy component, disable that pinchy, and let's put it on the tip thumbel. Tip thumbel, new script. Pinchy. No? Oh, we can just take pinchy and put it right there. There we go. Paste component values. There we go. Okay, so now we have pinchy. We have the pinchy script. We will remove the pinchy script. We will remove Weird. Why can we not remove component? There it is. Not delete component, remove component. Semantics. Okay, so now we have pinchy script exactly where we want it to be. It'll be pinchy. And we can now use it for confirmations. Is pinched. Where's our other scripts? Here's pinchy. Public bool is pinched. So in finger line, attached to B. Directly assign references in the inspector, or you can use game object find. I don't really want to find it every time, so I'm just going to make a reference to it. I will clean this up later. Get pinch. Pinch object. Object pinch. There we go. That's even better. Object pinch. Okay, so we've got object pinch. And we're going to see if we're pinching whenever we're enabled. But only when we're enabled. That way it's not calling it all the time, all 60 frames a second. So, if object pinch dot is pinched, component script. What was our script? Pinchy. There's our pinchy script. And object pinchy is pinched. That should do it. So if that's true, then do the thing. Toggle line. So we're going to save that. And we're going to put the pinchy on the pinchy. There's a method which is not valid. I understand. I understand it's not valid. Okay. Show. Where's my lines? Line, line, line. And we need a pinchy. Finger line. Game object, object pinch. Why do we not have an object pinch right there? Is it because it gave us this error here? It might have. Might be, might be. Do 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 do. Object pinch. There we go. You know, I'm ever only going to have one object pinch script. So it'd be nice to keep this all in one nice little tidy spot. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see how that goes. Get component. The script's name is pinchy. Okay. Looking object, get component, my script. Oh, did I forget a thing? I forgot a thing. There. Ta-da! That'll do it. Now we should be able to do it. Okay, if is enabled, if it's pinched, then toggle the line, which will disable. Yes. We should probably put this whole enable disable thing in its own function, or its own, function, and then return that. So it leaves this whole thing. Okay. First, the line. Pinch. Oh, see, this is gonna be the tricky part with the hand tracking, is sometimes it twitches. Boop, boop. There, it works. We got the pinchy to work. So, pinch, 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 pinch. Pinch. Come on. There you go. Okay. We got it to work. We got the pinching. Leap pinching. So we can use that for all sorts of things now. We just have to drop the object into wherever we're going. Yeah, we just have to drop the object into wherever we are going. Oh, that's handy though. That's handy. So this will be for confirming, theoretically. And then I'll use this more for maybe interacting. Or like finger guns. All right. That is another cool thing. I could use it as a ray caster, kind of like the flashlight. Where's my flashlight? Oh, we need a wall. We need a wall. Okay. So kind of like the flashlight, you know, you're pointing at the things. So I could use it as like the ray gun to, or I could use it as like a ray gun to select an object and then use this hand to pinch, which would be a very VR thing to do, wouldn't it? Still very amusing how we just kind of roller skate around when we're not we roller skate around when we're not in game mode. This being game mode. that off. All right, so now that we got the pinch working, I'll think of other places to use it. All right. It is interesting that you need to make a reference to the object itself to grab the script. So apparently you can grab, or you can reference the script kind of anywhere. Interesting. Not quite how I want to set it up, so there's probably a better way that I will think of later. Okay, so we're gonna save. First of all, very important, gonna save. And then we're gonna work on a level. We are gonna work on some level stuff. So what we're gonna do, make a new area down here. We've got the green screen, main office, the space scene. I'm not going to add a new scene. I'm going to add a new game object because eventually these will be scenes. We are going to call this, what should we call this? What should we call this? Should we call this? I'll call it like immersion view, but we'll call it platforms. Platforms. For now, we'll call it platforms. Yeah. And I think we're going to put it, well, what do we have for spacing? Spacing is right there. Green screen is way over there. Okay, so platforms. Maybe way the heck over here too. Maybe I'll put it off to the side of the green screen area so we can, look at it every now and then. Platforms. Okay, let's start adding stuff to platforms. Like a plane. We're gonna gray box all of this. It's gonna be fantastic. Gray everywhere. Okay, how big should we make this? Maybe 0.5, maybe 0.5. So we got something gray to stand on. Something gray to stand on. And it is going to be currently about this, a little bit bigger than the green screen area, which is probably acceptable. Oh, I've got a better idea. That is a way better idea. That's a way better idea. And it'll help with testing too. Okay. Let's put this right here. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this plane is going to be called Platforms Ground. Platforms Ground. Platforms Ground. Okay. Okay. We're going to call this Platforms. Platforms holder. And let's start adding some stuff. Cubes. Oops. No. Oh. Let's try that again. 3D object. Cube. A ragdoll. Interesting. Cube, where art thou? Oh, whoops. I didn't move. platforms I moved. Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. Okay. You know what? We're going to put it right there. The center is going to be lined up right there. Just off of the green screen area. And the reason is because this is going to be the start of our interactivity. The start of our interactivity. It's going to be very exciting. Okay. So we're going to go grab our ground back. Grab our ground and bring it way back over here. Poor thing. In all its lovely grayness. Yes. Okay. So in all its lovely grayness, which one is this? Let's just have this be 0. Whoa, let's not have that be 0. Let's have that be -5. I like nice easy numbers. Okay, and let's have this be -2.5. Again, nice easy numbers. Cube though. Squish cube. And we are going to add this guy over here. Hello, Fruitsy Collins. Welcome in, welcome in. We are starting our interactive journey. We are starting our interactive journey here. And this is going to be exciting. I'm adding platforms. But what are these platforms for? Let's find out. If that wasn't cheesy enough. That was probably cheesy. Okay, there you go. You can see it right here floating in my screen. We see a platform. Well, in fact, there's another one right... Yeah, why is that right there? Okay, so let's teleport over there for one thing. Hi. And we don't really need to lock this camera, but we will. So the platforms will be for the background. That is a kind of a goofy angle, isn't it? Okay, that I did not anticipate. When working in 3D, you have to keep in mind where all the dimensions are. Okay, so this one's over here. I'm gonna have to adjust my screen space. If you notice in Unity Editor, well, if you notice, there's duplicates of me, because we're sending this from Unity. We have our VC face duplicate behind us. So what I'm building out right now is going to be the shell, or the interactive part. So this is going to be overlaid over whatever we are streaming. So yes, basically this is the overlay. So instead of having how do I no, overlay sounds about right. So in OBS we have our transparent background here, right? Well, we're going to start filling that in with our environment that we're going to be overlaying over everything. Ah, man, I am not explaining it how I want to be explained. Basically, I'm looking for the boundaries. Oh, see, there we go. We just clipped out of there. I need to expand this, but basically I'm looking for the boundaries of where my canvas is. So what I will be doing with this is I'm going to grab my character. Where's my character? Character. player armature. And you can do stuff like put them on top of things. So I'm going to be able to teleport to the different corners. Get over here. Get over here. Teleport to different corners. For instance, he'll be standing on these platforms. So I'll be able to walk around to the edge of the screen, point at things instead of just hiding in the corner all the time. There we go. Maybe this is illustrating a little bit better. I don't want to capture my display. I'm going to have two different modes. I think. I might be overthinking it. So here we are in this corner. And we were falling over the edge over here, so that doesn't work out so well. But right here, we're in this corner. I need to expand in OBS my feed, it looks like. The easiest way would probably be the direct opposite of what I am trying to do, which would be to do what, like what you do, where you have your display in the environment on a screen. That would probably be way easier than what I am trying to do, wouldn't it? Yeah, because then I can pick up the screen and like move it around and stuff. Might have to put a pin in this idea because I do like the idea of whoa. Oops, we just mess up our. Here we go. I do like the idea of being overlaid over whatever I am doing instead of overlaid over whatever I'm doing instead of having it being displayed in the project. So I can do camera work right now. I mean, I can move right now I have my broadcast camera in a fixed position, which I'm using to my benefit because then I can make adjustments. I can make adjustments without disrupting the guy in the corner of the screen. So that was part of my idea. So I could see, I could see exactly where I'm moving from, like, see this the overhead view, so I could control where I'm running around. But if I'm running around from a fixed perspective anyways, so if the camera's fixed anyways, then I'm just rambling on this out loud. If the camera, let's see, if I'm controlling the camera anyways, I could switch between cameras. I am overcomplicating this, aren't I? I am definitely overcomplicating this. Where are we going? Let's get back here. There we go. Hi. I think this is a great idea that I need to think through. I need to think through a little bit better, a little bit more complete. Yeah. Man, I did like it. I did. When I first thought about it, it's like, oh, I can keep all my overlay as the overlay, but we can also I can also move around easier in the overlay. But if my switched around and do like what you and I think most most people in this situation do is, yes, you have the software, the whatever you're doing, the project within your environment. I think I would still be able to accomplish what I want to, or what my goal is, and possibly with a lot less work. Darn. Well, pretty much with the same amount of work, except, yeah, like you said, lets you do camera work switching cameras around might be a little bit easier then too. So one of the things I could do here instead, because I did want to make part of the issue with this is I wanted to make OBS do more of the heavy lifting than Unity with NDI plugin and such, or I guess it would be Spout spitting my monitor back over into Unity. So one of the things I did want to do, which I still can with this, is like, let's say I want to, well, here we go. Let's show instead of tell. So boom, I just popped my VC face guy up to the top corner of the screen. That was done with OBS. I'm just doing there. I just have a trigger set so that it moves the source, flips me down, hangs me from the ceiling. What I can do, what I want to do is I want to maybe switch to a different camera, or better yet, switch my actual position, because I've got this lovely transparent background anyways. So if I just move my dude to, like for instance, the other side of the screen. I do need to fix that. All the lighting and stuff, any lighting, any effects that I have going on, I'm over on the other side of the screen now, overlaid over the game. Sometimes people call them overlays when they're capturing. Yeah, like it's not an overlay. It's the opposite. It's the immersion. Well, it's not an underlay. It's not an underlay. Yeah, like what you're doing isn't an overlay. I mean, we're still like the terminology is we're calling it an overlay, but it's not overlay because what you are doing is within your environment. What I'm doing right now, I guess that this would be an overlay. Yeah, this is exactly an overlay because I am in front of what we're doing. I don't need to have Unity up here for confusion's sake. There. Look at me, I'm typing. There, see? So now it's an overlay. Whereas if I had my screen captured and brought into my project, then I could do fun stuff like grab it and move around with it. I know I've seen George and Swift move around, like they'll grab like images, like basically it's an object with the a JPEG attached to it, and they'll just run around and place it within the game, like you can do in VR. You can grab an object, move it around, twirl it around, fix it into position when you release it. I guess that's more of what I want to do. So sending my OBS feed back into Unity is the right way to do it, I guess. I will have to yeah, that's not a problem. I'm already doing that for part of my process here. Let's see. Let's go to the office, swing the camera around, and I think it's this button. Nope, no, not that button. Which button is it? There it is. There we go. I just turned my monitor on. Hey, there we go. We get this tunnel effect because right now we're there, but it doesn't have to be there. Does this still work? There we go. See? There, now we're not getting the tunnel effect. And I have my game, whatever I'm doing is here on this monitor. Okay. Glad we could go back and forth with this a little bit. Helping me voice this out loud here. The confusing thing is going to be, where am I? I've got my software open over here, but I'm working over here. That will take some getting used to if I want to be really, really 3D about it. Oh wait, and I disappeared, so yes, it will definitely take some getting used to. let's put ourselves back on the screen here. There we go. There we go. Now we are back on the screen. We still have these hovering platforms because those are still being sent from the capture area. Let's disable that screen for now, I think. Disable. There we go, we're disabled. So this is my green screen area. And we still have those platforms there up above me. But yeah, what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to frame the stage. You can basically make the, there we go. That is a much better terminology. Make my green screen area more of a stage. Yeah, more of a stage. So I guess I would have to have it aligned with the camera better too. So you don't get the full 3D view. That way, so the reason I would want it to be a stage is so I can kind of do fun stuff over the overlay. So, trigger like particle effects. Rusty's TEDx talk. It is, yeah. I'm definitely going to have to think this part of the idea through a little bit better. But for now, we can project ourselves behind ourselves here, which is funny because I think I'm going to have 2 instances of OBS running. Unless I assume there's some kind of NDI plugin for Unity, where I can just grab a screen or a program. It might be easier to have, it might be easier just to have 2 OBSs running, or finally switch to a 2 PC setup. Finally switch to a 2 PC setup. Oh, there we go. There, now you can see me on the TV in the background. Because for my just chatting areas, I am going to be in my office. I'm going to be in my office more. So for my just chatting, this whole thing isn't really going to be necessary. But when I'm in a game, so when I'm playing a game, I don't want a complete overlay around me unless I'm doing like a redeem or some fun shenanigans. Which I suppose yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think this through better. I'm gonna have to think this through. We're gonna put a pin in this. Oh, but one of the things we did do. Let's go back to a dark area. So I have my light, right? Where's my cursor? I have my cursor here somewhere too. So we have the light. Change the shape of my light control a little bit and change the intensity. Now it kind of gives a better indicator of how bright it is. Oops. Of how bright it is. And I'm working the bugs out of the second thing we added to it. Pinch. So I don't have to click any buttons. So I made a little pinch to confirm. Which seems pretty accurate. Pinch. Yeah, my script is called Pinchy. So when I was chatting with Dead Sun last week, I think it was last Friday, right? A little interview. He mentioned looking into the Leap Motion SDK, which I'd forgotten about because I didn't really do a whole lot with new SDK stuff lately. Do they? They're kind of phasing out the whole. That's the gist I get of it, that the Leap Motion's kind of being phased out for other reasons. But I'm not using the SDK. What I'm doing instead, because I'm still getting my motion tracking is all getting squished together and output from VCFace, hence the little guy in the corner there. I'll truly forget about the SDK. Probably. I didn't see any date stamps on the stuff that I did find for the demos. we got something because I'm not using Leap directly in Unity. I'm letting VCFace get all my tracking data and then send it over to Unity. I made my own pinchy, my own pinch to confirm. So we still got all our fun tracking. Right now I'm adjusting the light that's directly in front of me, and then pinch. Oh, I love it. I made a script called pinchy that just tests the distance between my finger and my thumb. That's it. Now, whenever I want to use it somewhere, I can just call that script. It's the little things sometimes. It's the little things. That was one of my easier wins, I think. Now let's hide platforms for now. There. I think that was one of my easier wins. Pinch to confirm. Pinch is true. Is very pinchy. Where is my pinchy script? Pinchy. If I want to call it, find out the status of being pinched, it's get pinched. There you go. Bam. Super simple. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. As with the hand tracking in general, it is a little glitchy, but it's glitchy is not the right term. Maybe a little sensitive. See, I was too close right there, but turned it off right away. So I have to start with my fingers separated, at least my index and my thumb. Then we just go boop. Love it. If pinchy return true, yes. So right now I just fed that script into my line script. Right here, object to be pinched. And the script just resides on my thumb currently. It tests it all the time though. I guess it's super lightweight. It's literally just testing the distance between 2 points. So there we go. Is pinched. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, it's basically the same as my light script, except significantly less. Significantly less. Yeah. And it's very amusing. It'd be nice if VR supported more handsy stuff. I know there's lots of handsy stuff in VR, but it'd be nice if that, more finger tracking is what I believe I meant to say. Maybe I didn't mean to say it. Because I know you can have your Leap attached to like a little chest mount, so you can track your fingers. It'd be nice to be able to do the more hands-on approach in VR of tapping objects instead of pointing a controller at them. Yeah, I haven't tried mounting my Leap Motion as a chest tracker for testing out VR stuff yet. I am disappointed that the VR set I do have, that Vive kind of abandoned, at least for the earlier headsets. They abandoned the finger tracking features. Because the one I have is the Cosmos Elite, picked it up used, nice and cheap. It has external cameras. Because it was originally a trackerless, or a base station, lighthouse base station less. So more like the meta ones where you don't have base stations and everything. So they left that functionality in for this headset. So you don't need it technically with a base station, but rambling. The point is that they started an SDK and abandoned it for hand tracking. So you wouldn't need to use your controllers. You could have your headset on and then just interact with everything, do the same, same gestures to do things, like pull up a menu and everything, and select and pinch and all that kind of fun stuff, without using Elite Motion, without using special controllers. You just have the set. And that's a shame that they abandoned that. One of their new models does have that capability, but I don't have that model, and I don't want to spend $1,200+ to get it. So yeah, so that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So for now, here we are. We're not quite in VR anyways, though, are we? Okay, so we've got our pinchy. We've got the idea of a platform environment, but we're not going to quite go with it. Not quite yet. I have to think the stage through better. So one of the nice things, I didn't look into NDI. Wow, I almost said I didn't look into NTR, but let me tell you. I know for Spout, for how I do my screen capture, we're sending the stream basically back into Unity. It's all handled on the GPU. There's no extra overhead because it's already being rendered. OBS is already rendering it. And then I'm just sort of not hijacking, I'm just watching that video stream. So that's how Spout communicates back and forth. Much more stable in Unity 6 than it was in previous versions, which is super amusing to me because the Spout plugin I'm using hasn't been updated in 5 years. So, Spouting logic. I do try at times. What do we got here? TV OBS screen. We are going to duplicate you. Or actually, we can just use the same material. We will just use the same material. TV material OBS. Okay, TV material OBS. So we're going to stick with this platforms area. Okay, I'm not going to completely abandon it, but I am going to get rid of the platforms themselves. Let's add a quad. What time is it? Oh, 9:30. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Let's plop this right over here. Just for fun. How big is that? Oh, that is huge. Let's make it 192 instead. 192 by 108. Still too huge. Okay, let's make it 1.92. There we go. By 1.08. Which might be the resolution of a monitor. Element, let's go TV material OBS. Like that. Cast shadows. Yeah, sure, let's cast shadows. You are facing the wrong way. Why are you facing the wrong way? So, this is already amusing. You are already seeing the results. Because for some reason, Spout works even when you don't hit the play button. Even when you don't hit the play button. Okay. So this is going to be fun. Oop, the wrong button again. Okay, so there we go. We have a floating screen right here, which just needs some input. Ta-da! So now we got picture in picture in picture. There we go. So the classic tunnel effect. Let's move this. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Yes, I'm definitely gonna have 2 instances of OBS running to do all this. Man. Okay. But as you can see, we now have our video feed. There we go. In our overlay. And that is slick. Okay, it's got a transparent background even. That is crazy. There we go. Okay. Ridiculous. Okay. I could have it send just... Yep, 2 OBSs. Definitely 2 OBSs is the way to go. But there it is. We can run around and... Whoa, that's not what I want to do. We can run around now. Pass right through our screen. Can we pass through our screen? No, it has a collider. There we go. We can go... Oh boy. There. Ta-da! We are headless now. We are now a true TV head. But yeah, I think if I just remove that glare, then it won't be so bad. What does this look like? What does this look? Press that B button. Full screen projector. There, now I can see what you guys are seeing. Yeah, see, one of the things I wanted to avoid with doing this way is losing resolution. I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this the other way around. Or to keep it as an overlay instead of a capture. Not an underlay. Don't you skibbity at me. I'm not a camera head. Well, technically I'm a camera head. Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to avoid was losing resolution because I am here. You know, I'm showing you an image of the software. How do you deal with that, Fruitsy? When you're capturing... Here we go. Let's make this actual size. That might help too. Reset transform. There we go. Now we are at the captured resolution. But yeah, how do you deal with resolution loss when you're... Or clarity. I should say clarity, not necessarily resolution. Because, okay, let's ignore the extreme the extreme tunnel effect, which I'm surprised isn't melting down things. But like if you look at the very corner here, corner alpha right here, you know, it's still dealing with distortion. Well, obviously distortion's distorted. It's still dealing with skewing at a lower resolution because now we're not showing the software at you know, we're not showing the software at its full glory of 1080p. We're showing it at a at least half that. Teleport in front of a green screen and swap to an OBS scene with King if you want something. Oh, okay. Which is my first method of doing it. You know, a traditional VTuber, right? Bam, traditional VTuber right here. I am just over the top of whatever chroma keyed. We'll call it chroma keying for now. Okay, so if you want to show something full screen, it's like, hi, I'm in the newsroom now, right? I'm in the newsroom. Here's the weather. Behold, the weather. But if you want to be more immersive, while still be more immersive while still capturing something. I mean, the cool thing about doing it this way is I can this is now an object within my environment. I can grab this and move it around. You know, and that is one of the things I wanted to do also. It does make capture blurry. I can play with all sorts of things with my material. I don't know. I might actually have this set to a lower resolution. Let me check the shader. or the material, excuse me. See, I can get rid of a bunch of stuff. Like the glare. I can definitely cut down on the glare with some of these, like right here. Don't really want to play with these while it's going because that'll probably lead to a crash. Seeing as what we're doing. And it has a nice glow to it right now because I pumped up the emission on it. One of the things I could do is exclude it from post-processing. There we go. There we go. That cleared it up a lot. It cleared it up nicely. Okay. I have a layer. Is that on screen? I have a layer called no post. And it just does that. It's none of my post-processing effects are applied to it. So no depth of field, no chromatic aberration, all that fun stuff that makes it all pretty. Specular highlights, here we go. Oh, there we go. Whoops, 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 whoops. Okay, I'm surprised it let me do that live. I'm surprised it didn't crash on the spot. Okay, hey, you know, this isn't looking too bad. Let's drag it a little bit closer to the camera. Oops. Align with camera. Oh my gosh, that's a thing. Well, we are folding space here, folks. Hi. Come on, I just want to see how blurry it is. Oh no, that is super blurry. Probably my fault because I do have focus distance set on this. So if it is directly behind me, theoretically this should all be nice and, aside from the tunneling of course, this should be nice and, where is it? Full screen projector, right there. Oh no, God, that's blurry. Here I am squinting like an old man at my secondary monitor. Welcome to Rusty's quasi-psychedelic stream. Alright. I think this requires offline testing. Yes. So one of the things that will not be a problem is if I'm doing this, I will not be capturing the monitor. Well, actually, I will not be doing monitor capture. I will be doing, oh my gosh, is that how simple it is? I am not running on full everything here. Let's see. We are outputting the whole feed from OBS. We have spout on everything. And that is circling back in. So what if I just put spout put on one thing? Filters. Spout OBS game screen. Bop. There, I think I just killed it. Okay, yep, I just need to put the spout filter on a source and not on the entire capture. That will solve the problem. Funny how that works. But I'm currently doing full screen capture. Okay. After further testing, this will be glorious and work completely as intended. Completely as intended. Spout put. Let's turn you off. There we go. Hello, everybody. We're back to our regularly scheduled program. So the funny thing is you will still see the tunnel effect here. Ta-da! We're streaming within the stream. Except except in this version, you get to see Winamp, which is very important. Very important that we get to see Winamp. Right there. Yeah. This will definitely need to be workshopped, but I'm digging it so far. Okay. Now, okay, we're back. Got our screen right there. It is right where we left it. Okay, cool. Turn spout put back on. Well, that's interesting. Let's turn spout put off for now. So spout put is my spout output, and one of my naming conditions, rules is if I misspell something, it has to stay that way. For naming things anyways, unless it's like horribly inappropriate, which I hope I don't do. But in this case, my spout output, I first typed it as spout put. And it's like, you know what? That works. And the funny thing about spout put, it's always running. It is always running. See? I'm moving this around in Unity right now. And the camera that is hiding right here somewhere, where the gremlin is. The camera that is hiding where the gremlin is still outputting to the graphics card, which is slightly annoying. That's why I normally turn it off. I don't think it's affecting my GPU too much though. Let's take a peek. I'm using about 28%, 30%. And that's not phasing it. It's going up by like 1. So if anything, I should just turn that screen off and it disappears. And it stays about the same. So that's nice. Oh boy. All right. Let's see. So we got that. Thanks to saying things out loud on stream and workshopping it a little bit. I think we will go with Fruitsy's suggestion of have the interactive environment, as in where I'm running around as a game character kind of thing, have it to be kind of separate from the green screen. So in other words, it won't be quite here. I should definitely move it. Okay, let's move platforms out of the way. That will not work quite as intended. It'll have to be its own little area. There. We'll move platforms out of the way. And then we can have our own separate spot. For instance, here's the TV screen. There. Oh, in fact, having a Rusty Robot Factory in the background might not be the worst thing either. But it'll just be another studio environment, another set. There we go, another set piece. Which is why I did put it in all caps down here. Because, for instance, we have, where is it? The space scene. That's the entirety of the space station, which was a asset level. The green screen is the green screen area. The main office is not in all caps, for shame, but that's the office. Space scene, where are you? Platforms, and platforms is going to be its own area for now. And this will be the start of a more interactive broadcasting area for when I want to still be in my little universe, but not be in front of a quote-unquote green screen. Yeah, I'm going to be heavily modeling it after Doy and Swift, how they have a super interactive environment and they grab stuff and move it around, like in VR, like except without being in VR. So you can grab stuff, move it around. So like let's say you want to load an image, a photo off your desktop or something. I mean, you could go in OBS and load the image source and then move it around, move it around in OBS. I want to do that in the environment, just like you can in VR, where you grab an item, you move it around, and you kind of pin it in space. It's world space coordinates. You just pin it there, you drop it, and then you can still move the camera around. So yeah. We're gonna save this, jump back in, because I do want to be able to show a thing and still interact with it. Whereas like the office environment, which this is not the finalized office, this is still the version from ye olden days, from this isn't the factory, this isn't the office. So this is actually the out-of-date stand-in. We're gonna have our just chatting, moving around the world and stuff. I guess we could pop open, because why not? We could pop open a screen behind us at any time. But I do like the idea of having a dedicated area that is set up just for kind of like this. It is set up just for a purpose. This area's purpose is the green screen. Now it looks like a purple space background, the void, which is fitting because it is a void. It does not capture with the output camera. So this is an overlay, just like a traditional VTuber. Whereas this area over here now, that is going to be very similar to this, except it will not be a green screen. It will be the opposite. An inverse green screen. I'm gonna write that down. It sounds pretentious. I love it. I love it. Inverse green screen. Capturing. I'm just gonna be capturing whatever software I'm using. I'm gonna have to have two OBSs. Inverse green screen. There we go. Put a star next to that one. Oh, but one of the fun things we did work on. Let's see. Let's lock the camera so I'm not moving all over the place. There we go. Okay, so I turned off the studio lights for the green screen area because it has its own lighting setup. So what we did do, we have our light control. Oh, this is gonna be tricky. It requires tuning. So we have our light control. So we can adjust the intensity with the distance between our hands. See, so this blue bar, or now it's a blue arrow. It used to be a blue bar. It's not actually glowing. Oh, as you can probably tell from the output. It's not actually glowing, but what it is doing is taking the distance between my hands, technically my pointer fingers, my index fingers, and it is using that to adjust the light, and then I can lock it in. See? See, dim, dark mode, if you will, and brighter. If the, yeah, it works. It shows it. But one of the fun things I did earlier this stream is, instead of having to click, I don't know if you could hear that click. I have a foot pedal. I have a foot pedal that I have it triggering this. Because I want it to be hands-free, because obviously I'm using my hands. I don't want to be clicking a mouse when I'm trying to do fun shenanigans like this. So what I do have instead is pinchy. Pinch. It only works one way right now, because I didn't want it to be like turning on and off every time I like snap my fingers close together. And pinch. And oop, see, too close. Pinch. Yes, the function is called get pinched. Figured that was fitting. All right, but you know what? We are coming on a good point to wrap this up, I think. I was going to work on the platforming area, but after doing it live, after testing it all out, not quite how I was envisioning it. Not quite how I was envisioning it, and that's okay. That's okay. I think what I might do is I might add a teleport pad over there right away, though. Let's add a teleport location. Teleport, teleport. Where is my teleports? Green screen. Green screen destination. Oops, where is my teleport script? This is set up differently than my factory project, isn't it? Yes, this is. Okay. Teleport, 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 teleport. Teleporter. Okay, I have to edit this manually. That's annoying. Green screen destination, return, and space station. So, you can see Rusty's hand here clawing up for help. Giant Rusty. Basically, as I work on this, I'm going to add another target, teleportation target. However, I'm going to redo this because in the factory project, which we will be merging in soon, super soon, we'll be merging into this main project. I don't have to hard code, or hard link all of these objects, so it works much smoother. Much smoother. Well, it actually works pretty much the same as this, but it's not as clunky. These are hard coded. It just grabs a pile of destinations and then does this at runtime instead. But yes, my pinchy script. Super proud, super simple. Didn't have to load up the whole Leap Motion SDK for it. And soon. Oh, I should also replace this Rusty Robot Factory text with my actual logo, because this was pre-logo. In fact, this was, I think, when I was shooting for Affiliate. I did a little video of me walking along it, and then falling off the edge, because there just happened to be an edge right there. Yeah, that's from like last September. So we've been working on this whole thing for a while, and it will be a constant work in progress. Constant work in progress, and that is okay. That is perfectly okay. We can get up to all sorts of fun shenanigans, have a grand old time. And that's what this whole project is about. This is just about having fun, making a fun little streaming environment for us. There we go. Ta-da! Yes, we do need to do some updates here. Get the whole factory put in. Compiling shader. Interesting. But yes, and there we are. There we are on ye old CRT. You too can watch Rusty Robot Factory on a CRT monitor without having to listen to that hideous whine that comes from a cathode ray tube. About the only thing I miss from a CRT is when you turn them on, or when you degauss them, they get the... Yeah, that's the best part. But yes, there we are. We're already semi-interactive now. I could totally yeet this monitor across the room, and it would still work. It would still show the stream. But yes. So there's a good place to... Oh no. Well, this is definitely a good point to a good place to end the stream on. For we have again been blessed by Restore Up. It's a sign. It's a sign. All right. Let's get out of here. I will see you all next week's schedule might be slightly different. We might do a Wednesday, Friday. And we might do that going forward. We'll have to see. What time is it? 10 on the dot. Okay. Let's see. Just picking out a raid target. But yes, next, obviously, I'll announce it on the socials and whatnot in the Discord. But yes. Next Wednesday, probably. And yeah, I'm not sure if we'll be doing this on Wednesday or if we'll be doing game on Wednesday, this on Fridays. We'll have to see. Fridays, my brain might be fried, so maybe we'll do gaming on Fridays again. Ooh, and I closed the window thingy. Oh. We are going to go head on over to Dead Sun Prime because I see the title is Dead Sun's Mystic Quest with Slime. So we are going to go take a peek at that. I have a cameo in there somewhere. I have a cameo in that game, so that'll be fun. All right, let's get ourselves a little raid message. Ooh, I can tell I'm starting to run out of steam. It's a rusty raid. Let's go pester them. Let's go pester. Dead Sun Prime does a lot of, uses Unreal Engine instead of Unity. It does a lot of interesting stuff with interactivity and 3D modeling, bunch of Fortnite. But we don't hold the Fortnite stuff against him, so that's okay. All right. Catch y'all next week.